I discovered the betrayal on a Thursday night. Lily, my daughter, was in the kitchen laughing. That light, careless laughter that didn't belong in a house thick with the scent of medicine and unpaid hospital bills. Upstairs, I moved slowly. Every step reminded me of the dull ache in my chest, a quiet rhythm counting down my remaining days. I wasn't supposed to overhear them, Lily and Adam, but illness has a strange way of sharpening your senses. He said, "Once she's gone, it's all ours." And she didn't deny it, just whispered, "Soon." That one word ran through my blood like venom. I had built my company from a cluttered garage in a reckless dream. 40 years of sacrifice, missed dinners, sleepless nights, and a marriage that didn't survive the climb. When the doctor told me I had half a year left, I made plans to sell quietly. $8 million transferred into a private account only I knew existed. I'd intended to tell Lily later. Maybe leave her enough to make life gentle. But after that conversation, I realized I hadn't raised a daughter. I'd raised a performer. Lily used to curl up in my lap after school, ink-stained fingers clutching the story she wrote. She wanted to be me, fierce, focused, unstoppable. Somewhere along the way, she married Adam, and I watched that spark in her eyes harden into calculation. Adam had that polished charm, smooth, convincing, practiced. I'd met his kind in boardrooms. Smiles that never reached the eyes, hands that only reached for profit. I saw it, but I looked away. I wanted to believe love could soften her edges. After that Thursday, I stopped taking my medication. Not to die faster, but to watch what they'd do when they thought I was fading. Within days, Lily hovered constantly. Adam started circling questions about my will, my business, my assets. He even tried slipping documents in front of me, just in case. I acted frail, confused, compliant. Let them believe they held the reins. That's when I began to plan. I called Jonathan, my lawyer, and an old friend who owed me more than he'd ever say out loud. I told him to transfer the house, the car, everything visible, into Lily's name. But the money, the real money, would go somewhere else. He drafted the papers, sealed and notarized them. No questions asked. Then I made one more call to a real estate friend. Asked for a small apartment downtown, quiet, paid in full, under a different name. 1 month. I told him. Then I'd disappear. I wanted to see them celebrate my death. 2 weeks later, I staged it. Collapsed mid-breakfast, mid-sentence. My body didn't need much acting. The ambulance came. The hospital admitted me. And when Lily and Adam arrived, I caught the relief flickering behind their tears. It's almost poetic how greed strips the soul bare. That night, I signed myself out against medical advice and went straight to the apartment. Alive, alone, free. The next morning, the news broke. Elderly entrepreneur dies after brief illness. Jonathan followed my instructions exactly. Funeral, obituary, even the death certificate. They buried an empty casket. A week after my death, he called them into his office for the will reading. He recorded it for me. I wish I could have seen their faces when he said, "I, Margaret Hale, leave my entire estate to my daughter Lily. However, all financial assets, including proceeds from Hale Innovations, have been donated to the Children's Cancer Research Foundation." Adam's voice cracked first, then Lily's. Jonathan handed him a checkbook. The house, worth maybe $200,000. I can almost hear the silence that followed. How he must have blamed her. How she must have blamed him. That was my real legacy. Each other. 3 months later, I saw them again. I was sitting in a cafe across town, a scarf hiding my neck, a wig covering what chemo had taken. They walked in, arguing in sharp whispers. She looked weary. He looked cruel. They didn't see me. For a fleeting second, I almost pitied her. But pity is for the betrayed, not the avenged. Now I live quietly. No mansion, no boardrooms, just peace. The money sits untouched. Maybe I'll use it one day. Maybe I won't. It doesn't matter anymore. It was never about the money. It was about knowing I'd won, that while they plotted my death, I was already scripting their downfall. They mistook illness for weakness. But sickness stripped away my illusions, not my strength. It showed me who deserved my silence. and who deserved my absence. And when I left them buried beneath their own greed, I finally understood one sharp, simple truth. Sometimes the best lesson is letting them believe they won, until they realize they never held control, not even for a second.